What will happen to spousal open work permits according to the new proposed rule from IRCC? Before we start, my name is Madhur Parashar. My contact information is on this video. If you need our paid immigration services, feel free to reach out via text message or email. Now let's get into the topic. A few days ago, I posted a video on my channel about a proposed new rule for spousal open work permits that has been proposed by IRCC. If you've not watched that video yet, please go to my channel, check it out. I have described the proposal in more detail. So first, let's get into the background of what this proposal is. So according to some IRCC documents obtained by an immigration lawyer, Stephen Murens, a few months ago, around August 2024, IRCC sent a proposal to the immigration minister in which they proposed that in order to reduce the population of temporary residents in Canada, we can eliminate certain categories of spousal open work permits. So according to this proposal, they are recommending 3 steps. Step number 1, go back to the old system where only spouses of high skilled workers used to get SOWPs, meaning remove tier 4 and tier 5 job holders, spouses from getting SOWP. Recommendation number 2 is that SOWPs should be given not to spouses of all high skilled workers, meaning not all tier 0, 1, 2, 3 workers, but only to tier 0 and tier 1 worker spouses and spouses of workers in shortage occupations. So they are saying that go back to the old system of high skilled worker spouses SOWP only and further restrict it to 0, 1 and shortage occupation workers' spouses. Recommendation number 3, give SOWPs only to spouses of those workers whose work permit is valid for at least 16 months or more. So such a proposal was made to the minister in an internal document, and the minister reviewed and approved that proposal and signed that proposal. The proposal is still not officially released yet. So it is not an official rule, it is not a regulation, it is not a law yet. But because the proposal was signed and approved by the minister, so we are expecting that it will be released soon. We are expecting that it will become a rule very soon. But here's the thing, sometimes a lot of proposals don't become official. Sometimes some rules are proposed, minister signs off, and then later on the government changes its mind, and or just before releasing it they make some changes and they relax certain requirements. So this happens often. So just because there was a proposal, there was an approval, it doesn't guarantee 100% that it will become law for sure, but there's a very high likelihood of this thing becoming an official rule, but it has not become a rule yet. So if this proposal becomes an official rule, then we know a few things. Tier 4 and tier 5 jobs will no longer be eligible for SOWP. Tier 0 and tier 1 jobs will definitely be eligible for SOWP. Shortage occupation jobs, irrespective of what tier they are in, will also be eligible for SOWPs. So then there are 2 unknowns. Will tier 2 and tier 3 be eligible for SOWPs? And the second one, what will be those shortage jobs that will also be eligible for SOWPs? So the most common question from the audience is, will tier 2 job be eligible for SOWP, or will tier 3 job be eligible for SOWP? So as I mentioned, in the proposal that was made by IRCC and signed off by the minister, according to that proposal, tier 2 and tier 3 jobs should not be eligible for SOWPs anymore. That's what the proposal says, and the minister has approved it. So there is a very high likelihood that if the proposal is implemented into rules as it is, as we saw it, then tier 2 and tier 3 jobs may not be eligible for SOWPs. But if the government changes its mind, if they rethink the approach and they make some changes to that proposal before implementing it, then who knows, maybe tier 2 and tier 3 may get included at the last moment. The proposal was made in August, and since then it's been almost 5-6 months. So we don't know, maybe some new thinking or some new changes have happened in IRCC, because of which maybe they changed their mind and said tier 2 and tier 3, okay, let's include those for SOWPs as well. We don't know what happened after that proposal was approved. It has not been implemented yet, so there has been 5 months have passed since then. During those 5 months, what happened? We don't know. Did 2 and 3 tiers got added to that proposal? Maybe, we don't know that. But if we look at purely that proposal, then tier 2 and tier 3 jobs will not be included. People have been asking, hey, if I have a teaching assistant job, will I be eligible? If I have an administrative assistant job, truck driver, or retail sales supervisor. So people want to know if their specific job will be eligible for SOWP going forward or not. So my advice to you is, for that job, look up what is the NOC. So for example, for teaching assistant job, it's 43100. So that's tier 3 job. If the proposal that we've seen as signed off, if that is implemented as such, then tier 3 job, no SOWP. So teaching assistant, no SOWP. Same thing for truck driver. That's also a tier 3 job. Maybe no SOWP for them. Admin assistant, tier 3. Retail sales supervisor, tier 2. So if tier 2 and tier 3 jobs are not are no longer eligible, then these jobs will not get SOWPs. If tier 2 and 3 jobs got included, then these jobs will get SOWPs. There is no way of knowing whether 2 and 3 were later on included or not. In the proposal that we have in our hand right now, tier 2 and 3 jobs are not included. The second thing is, however, if any of these jobs get included in the list of shortage occupations, then they become SOWP eligible. So maybe they might say, hey, we have admin assistant and retail sales supervisor is not a shortage job, so no SOWP. But truck driver is a shortage job, for example. Then even though it is tier 3, it might become eligible for SOWP. A teaching assistant, if they call it a shortage job, then even though it is tier 3, it may become eligible. So we don't know right now what is the list of those shortage occupations. Then there is the 16-month rule. So even if your occupation is tier 0 or 1 or in a shortage occupation list, but you don't have 16 months remaining on your work permit, will your spouse be eligible for SOWP? Maybe not. So there are a few things that we know right now, and there is a lot that we don't know right now. The biggest thing that we don't know right now is whether tier 2 and 3 occupation will be included. What will be the list of those shortage occupations? Will any exception be made for the 16-month rule? We don't know when this rule will come out. Maybe because of all the political crisis and the Prime Minister's resignation and all that drama that's going on, maybe because of that, this rule might get delayed by a lot. And if elections are called, then the current minister will not bother with it, and the next minister might decide that we don't need to implement this rule. So a lot of things can change. We just have to wait and watch how this drama plays out. But one thing is clear: if you are eligible for an SOWP today, January 6th, then don't wait for some announcement to come out or some news to come out. If you're eligible today, apply today. Our firm handles lots of spousal open work permits. Reach out. My contact information is here. We'll help you file your SOWP. What about people whose spouses have a tier 4 or 5 job and they want to extend their SOWPs? Usually in these cases, the extensions are allowed, but new applications are not allowed. So most probably people who are already on SOWPs will be able to extend it, but new applications may not be allowed. So you need to act quickly. On this channel, we bring the breaking news and analysis on Canadian immigration. So like, share and subscribe to this channel for latest Canadian immigration information. Once again, my name is Madhur Parashar. I'm a licensed Canadian immigration consultant. My contact information is on this video. Feel free to reach out for our paid immigration services.